Here is the VAT guidance for consumers on different industries. In education sector, the zero-rated VAT will be applied for nursery and preschool education, private and public school education, excluding higher education, and related goods and services provided by education institution. Higher education provided by institution, owned by government, or 50% funded by government, and related goods and services. After-school activities supplied by teachers and not for extra charge, and for the school trips where purpose is educational and within curriculum. In education sector, the 5% VAT charges for the education provided by private higher educational institutions, and related goods and services, school uniforms, stationery, electronic equipment, tablet, laptop, etc., renting of school grounds for events, after-school activities for extra fee, and for the school trips for recreation or not within curriculum. In the healthcare sector, the zero-rated VAT charges are for preventive healthcare services including vaccinations. Healthcare services aimed at treatment of humans, including medical and dental services, medicines and medical equipment as listed in Cabinet decision. In healthcare sector, the 5% VAT charge is applicable for the other healthcare services that are not for treatment, and are not preventive. Medicines and medical equipment not listed in Cabinet decision, and for the other medical supplies. For crude oil and natural gas the VAT rate is 0%. The VAT rate of 5% will be applicable for the other oil and gas products, including petrol at the pump. In transportation sector, the zero-rated VAT will be applicable for international transportation of passengers and goods, including intra-GCC supply of a means of transport, air, sea and land, for the commercial transportation of goods and passengers, over 10 people, supply of goods and services relating to these means of transport, and to the transportation of goods and passengers. In transportation sector, the VAT charges are exempted for domestic passenger transportation, including the flights within the UAE. In real estate industry, the zero-rated VAT will be applicable for the first sale or rent of residential building after completion of construction or conversion, and for the first sale of charitable building. In real estate sector, the VAT charges will be exempted for the sale or rent of residential buildings subsequent to first supply, and for the bare land. In real estate sector, the 5% VAT charges will be applicable for the sale and rent of commercial buildings, not residential buildings, hotels, motels, and serviced accommodation, and for the land. For the UAE citizens building own home the 5% VAT charge is recoverable. In finance sector the VAT charges are exempted for margin-based products, products not having an explicit fee, commission, rebate, discount or similar. Interest on forms of lending, including loans, credit cards, finance leasing, issue allotment or transfer of an equity or debt security. In finance sector, 5% VAT charges will be applicable for products with an explicit fee, commission, rebate, discount or similar. The zero-rated VAT charges will be applicable for the gold, silver and jewelry if it is greater than or equal to 99% pure, and tradable in global markets. The 5% VAT charges will be applicable if it less than 99% pure and for the jewelry. The VAT charges are exempted for life insurance and life reinsurance. VAT rate of 5% will be applicable for insurance and reinsurance, including health, motor, property, etc. The VAT rate of 5% will be applicable for the food and beverages. In telecommunication sector, the VAT rate of 5% will be applicable for wired and wireless telecommunication and electronic services. For non-profit organizations, some services are considered outside VAT system. Activities of foreign governments, international organizations, diplomatic bodies and missions acting as such, if not in the business in the UAE, charitable activities undertaken by societies and association of public welfare which are listed by cabinet decision, activities of other not-for-profit organizations, not listed in cabinet decisions, which are not business activities undertaken by the above organizations, VAT rate dependent on the good or service ignoring provider. In free zones, the supplies of goods between businesses in designated zones are considered outside VAT system. Supplies of services between businesses in designated zones, the VAT charges are dependent on the service ignoring location. For supplies of goods and services in non-designated zones, supplies of goods and services from mainland to designated zones, or designated zones to mainland, the VAT charges are dependent on the good or service ignoring location. The zero-rated VAT will be applicable for the export of goods and services to outside the GCC implementing states. Activities undertaken by employees in the course of their employment, including salaries, and the supplies between members of a single tax group, are considered outside VAT system. For second-hand goods, example, users' cars sold by retailers, antiques and collectors' items, the VAT rate of 5% of the profit margin will be applicable. Any supply of services or goods, not mentioned above, includes any items sold in the UAE, or service provided, the VAT rate of 5% will be applicable. Your tax invoice should include tax invoice, TRN, tax registration number, price includes VAT, amount of tax charged. Businesses are not allowed to charge VAT unless they are registered for VAT and have a TRN. Are you ready for VAT? Get your business VAT ready with Insight ERP, VAT compliant, cloud-based accounting software. Insight ERP connects every function across your business: sales, purchase, receivables and payables, PDC management, financial accounting, profit analysis, and more. To know more about VAT in UAE, please subscribe. Thank you.